Hi everybody, welcome to lesson 5. In this lesson, we'll be looking at how to make an inference. That means how to guess that some information is true by using the information that we're given in the passage. I know we've looked at this skill many times in different subjects, but it's important that we keep reviewing these type of skills because they do come up in English, in social, in science. They come up in most of the GED subjects. Now, as before, with this video, please do make sure you pause the video to answer the questions before you watch the explanation. Let's have a look together. This chapter is based on making an inference. Now, making an inference means trying to guess something, trying to understand what the author means. You take information that the author gives you and you try to guess or you try to infer based on that information. There's always going to be something in the passage that will give you a clue. If there's no evidence for what you are inferring, then it's not an inference, it's purely your speculation. So you have to find something in the passage that will support one of the answers. So let's work through these questions together. If you've done these questions already, okay. If not, then just pause the video quickly and try to answer question 1 and question 2. So put a check mark next to the implied main idea of the excerpt. Now, when we're looking for the main idea, it has to be something that is true, has to be something that is a main point, not a detail, and it has to be something that's based on the passage. The two options are that computers have revolutionized, that means changed completely, many areas of modern life. The second one is despite predictions to the contrary, to the opposite, computers have made life busier than ever. So, it was the early 1980s. An expert interviewed for the news piece said that in 20 years, thanks to computers, the average work week was going to be reduced to 20 hours. The United States was going to become a country of leisure and culture. We were going to have more time on our hands to fulfill our dreams. Computers were going to revolutionize medicine, business, communication, government, education, and make our existence easier than we could imagine, and rid us of the anxieties, the worries that plague us like a disease. Plague meaning like a disease. Now, that paragraph is all talking about this person in the 1980s, what they were predicting. Jump to the present, the year 2000. Okay, now we're in 2021. This was written 20 years ago. The personal computer has proliferated. That means spread a lot. PCs are saturating large and larger chunks of the United States. Households, internet companies are dominating the stock market. Computers have paved the way for extraordinary research in genetics and quantum physics and space exploration. And we work more hours and are more harried, more worried than ever before. So much for the 20-hour week. Now, the key things to see that in the first paragraph, it talks about what people thought in the 1980s, how computers were going to reduce the working time to 20 hours per week. Normally, in the West, people work 40 hours per week. That's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So they thought working time would halve. People would have more time for leisure and culture. And in the year 2020, we work more hours and are more worried than before. The end is so much for that 20-hour week. So it's linking back to what was said at the beginning. At the beginning, it said that in the future, life will become more easy. At the end, it says they were wrong. So it's about a prediction in the 1980 that was wrong and how people are more busier than ever before. So answer B is the main idea of the excerpt. Even though revolutionizing many areas of modern life is definitely in the second paragraph, it's not the main idea of the excerpt because that forgets about the final conclusion and it misses the whole of the first paragraph about how people in the past thought the modern day would be much easier. Put a check mark next to each detail that helped you to answer question 1, and you choose more than one. An expert predicted that the average week would be reduced to 20 hours. That's what people said in the 1980s. That is useful for showing you the main idea that you chose in question 1. Internet companies are important in the stock market is not about how people were wrong. That's about how life has changed. Today we work more hours than ever before is a good answer for this question. On to page 61, and we have another short passage. You can pause the recording and answer the questions as we go, or if you've got the textbook, you could do them, but we're going to look at these ideas together. Question 1, put a check mark next to the topic of this paragraph. Dance, the arts, business, or theatre. Twila Tharp is working these days without a company of her own. So company could mean a business company, but it could also mean a theatre company, where you have a group of actors working together to make plays. They call it a company. And until tax structures change, without a permanent base of support. When she gives a performance, that could be a play, or it could be dance. She is now doing at the Brooklyn Academy. The stage is bare, the dancers wear practice clothes and dance to taped music, and the ticket prices are scaled down. This is a poverty format, poor format, because Twila Tharp, as it does few choreographers. Choreographers are people that plan the dance move. But the economic picture that dancers face today, we have that word dancing, is not pretty. At lunch in a downtown coffee shop recently, Tharp refused to discuss it. Everybody knows how bad it is and how bad it's going to get. Have the chicken soup, please. And by the way, when was it ever good? So it's not talking about business. She is a dancer, and dancing is a type of performance art. And she dances in a theatre. Now, the arts is a little bit too broad. Think about the 6-way, main, broad, narrow. So the arts would be too broad. The arts would include music, painting, acting, dancing. These are all types of performance, types of art. But Tharp is a dancer, and she has dance performances that are poverty format. Theatre would be more about acting. So the correct answer is dance. Based on the information in the passage, you can infer that the phrase poverty format in line 5 means which of the following? Well, let's look at what came in the sentence before. The stage is bare. There's no painting or backdrop or scenery. The dancers wear their practice clothes, not special clothing. If you've ever done don dancing, you know that when we practice don dancing, we have our training uniform, normally a t-shirt and a cheap longi. But when we go to do the real don dance performance, we wear the expensive performance clothing, the uniform, the very pretty current shirt. Normally it's got fibers worn into it, things that reflect the light, a heavy, thick longi, and a lot of makeup. So when we are doing a professional don dance performance, we wear a very expensive uniform. But when we are practicing for the hundreds of hours, we wear very cheap clothing. That's what she is wearing in her normal performance. And they have taped music, not live music. So all of this shows that she's doing things very cheaply, very basically. Now, Tharp's performances use musicians is not true, because it says that they have taped music. Tharp's pieces deal with the topic of economic struggle. Well, their dance topic might not be about economic struggle. It's more about making a basic type of performance. She has little money to spend on the performances. Yes, they do not buy nice clothes. They do not have live music. They do not make fancy scenery, pictures for behind them. It is all very poor. Yes. D, to say her performances are poor, would mean the quality of her dancing is poor. It's not the quality of her dance that is poor, it's the finances, the economics. She spends little money. So the correct answer is C. Question 3. Put a check mark next to the statement that best expresses the main idea of this paragraph. That is thriving because of a strong economy, but she talks about how bad it is and how bad it's going to get. So this means that she has a poor financial situation. Giving up their art is also not correct. They do put on performances. The prices are low. They have taped music and basic clothing. So they don't stop performing, but they make it more cheap. The tax laws penalize those who support the art. Well, it does talk about the tax structure, but it doesn't say that there's a punishment for those that support the art. So C is not quite right. Due to the economy, okay, so she hasn't got a company, she's not got a base, yes. The future is bleak. The future is not very promising. So she said it's bad and it's going to get more bad. This is true. Answer D is the best answer.